You watch my videos?
Yeah, man. That's how
Really?
yeah.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You sure?
Yeah. I'm a little far out there. Are you okay? How are you?
Well, I'm fine, but I always am worried about anybody that watches my videos.
Why's that?
Have you ever watched them?
I have. I love your videos. They're amazing.
Well, really?
Yeah. Well, I got into it primarily because I was looking to learn some licks with slide guitar.
Oh,
And so that's how I found your videos. And yeah, I think my first comment to you was, I think I found my spirit animal or something like that. And you said I should seek help.
yeah. Well, that's it. Because I mean, anytime anybody likes me, I tell them to seek help. Well, I mean, doesn't that make sense?
So perhaps I should introduce you. This is Messiahsez. I found him on YouTube, and to me, he's brilliant. I don't know. So how do I put this? Trump is our president.
No, that's T Rump.
Oh, T Rump, is it?
Yeah, T Rump.
That's so disturbing.
Well, you want to talk about that?
I mean, I'm up to anything. That seems like a good place to jump off.
Let's put it this way. I'm 66 years old.
All right.
The first time that I marched in a protest was in 1967,
Awesome.
and I was a protester all along. In 2003, I marched against the war in Iraq, and I marched against the Republicans in 2004 when they had their convention here in the city. Since then, I have not done anything.
Okay.
Now, am I allowed to just speak whatever words I want?
Oh, of course. Of course. There's no.
I haven't done shit is what I haven't done. So I love Obama. I have loved Obama. But it turns out that while Obama was the president, there's a whole lot of fucking people in this country, a variety of people who are suffering. And
Amen.
and if Mrs. Clinton had been elected, who I voted for,
As did I.
it would have been the same thing. I would have felt, self-righteous that I had voted for the woman and for the Democrat and the one who believes in rights of the people, et cetera. And these other people would still be getting fucked.
Right.
Now, with this fucking orange moron orangutan as the president, I have marched twice already in 3 days.
Wow.
The full-time activist protester, and I have not seen since the 60s a coalition, a galvanizing of people who think the way I do, which is that everyone has the right to freedom and justice. I have not seen as much enthusiasm to pursue that as I have seen in the last week, and it's because people are waking up to the fact that this racism and this systematic discrimination against a wide variety of people exists, and they hopefully will fucking do something about it. How's that?
Well, that's beautifully put. But I think there were a lot of trouble with, so Hillary. I think she was old guard. I really was behind Bernie through the whole thing. And the only reason I went for Hillary is because it was a hate vote. It was I don't want Trump. So it was a choice between a douchebag and a turd sandwich, and I chose the turd sandwich.
Yes, and before the election, I found that to be a disturbing voice that I was hearing, because I did not want Donald Trump to be the president. And I think that what you just said was clearly true for many, many people. And I mean, it's hard to believe all this crap that you see on the internet and the TV. But one of the things that was said was that 58% of Latino people somehow support a variety of Donald Trump's beliefs about stuff. And, I don't even know if that's true, but and a lot of Latino people, a lot of black people, a lot of white women, a lot of people voted for the fucking guy. He did lose the popular vote.
Well, I think that just shows how disappointed we are as people in our system. We just want something that's going to fucking shake it up. And, you know, Bernie was that candidate for the Democrats, and for the Republicans, Trump was. And they were both sort of dividing forces in their own party. But I do think Bernie would have stood a much, much better chance of winning, because we as a people just want somebody that's going to shake the system, because it's obviously not working.
That is difficult to ascertain at this point, but I think you're probably right. And there's a tremendous amount of discord and a tremendous amount of conflict. I go to the Russian baths on 10th Street all the time. I'm sort of the mayor there. I've been going for 30 years. It's a spa, and there's a wide variety of New Yorkers who go there. And I was wearing a fuck Trump hat. Well, I was. And
you see, if I were to wear something like that around where I live, I would probably be shot.
Well. So I'm sorry that you live there and you should move.
I should.
Right. So I'm at the baths, and I'm confronted. There's Russians, literally Russian immigrants, who are there, and they're pro-Trump. They're all pro-Trump, and there's other people that are pro-Trump, and you know, a physical confrontation to a certain degree occurred, and one of them slapped on my guitar because I was going to play guitar around the corner. One of them slapped on my backpack, "Fuck Hillary," without me knowing it. And it was an assault. I mean, and you can feel it in New York City, but most of the people in New York City are just pissed off that piece of shit is going to.
That's one thing I think we need to do. I think if we're going to make it as a species, we all sort of have to take a step in a different direction mentally. Like, I think we need to open up our ideas a little bit, because I think we get too closed-minded and bogged down into what the world is today and less about what it could be. And I think it should be the other way around. We should definitely pay attention to what's going on, but I think we should shift our attention a little bit higher to, you know, what we could make this place.
I can't agree with you more. And if you do watch the videos, that is exactly the point of the videos. That is exactly the point of pretty much everything that I do. And I completely agree with you. And that step that you're talking about taking is a very small one, because once you take the first step, the rest of them are easy. Once you actually decide to pursue your life with that set of goals and principles, once you actually take that first step, the rest is easy. And one of the things that I say is that loving feeling, which is what I'm talking about, is that it's the only thing that I know of that the more that you give, the more you have to give. And it's a beautiful thing. And I actually believe that it has an infinite quality, and that all of us, not only us, but all of the microphones that we're speaking into and the air that we're breathing, all of us, all of it is literally an expression of that love. And that human psychology and the difficult biological circumstances make us not see it, but it's there whether we see it or not.
That's remarkably beautiful, but that's exactly how I see it.
Yep.
So I've got to ask you, where did you originally, I guess, start to develop these ideas? Like, were you a hippie back in the day?
I certainly was. I certainly was. But to tell you the truth, and I have told this story before, the first time that I experienced it was under anesthesia at age 4 years old in 1954.
Wow.
And the first time that I completely felt it was at age 8. And interestingly enough, it was slide guitar music that triggered it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And since my teens, I have always known it. Now, did I always act that way? No. I was for 30 years the boss of a Teamster shop.
Okay.
You know how many Teamsters it takes to screw in a light bulb?
Yeah.
How many?
No idea.
5. You got a problem with that?
No.
So I used to have to deal with that constantly, but I have known it since I was 4 years old. I truly learned of it in 1968, and then again in 2007 is when it took me over completely, and it's all I am now. So
Okay. So I guess for me,
yes.
these I guess steps in the right direction all seem to have been spurred upon psychoactive substances. Seems to be where they've all come from for me. I know other people. There are monks and people out there that have gone, these crazy awesome directions just through meditation, through all that kind of good thing. But for me, it seems like just an easy. It was always an easy way for me to get into a sort of spiritual mindset, or sort of a mindset in which I could separate my mind from my body and sort of think about things with no ego.
Um, um, I will say for sure that is true. I will say that in Amsterdam in 2007, I took gigantic amounts, 16 dry grams, 2 days in a row of psilocybin mushrooms. And on the second day, not only left my body, which I had done many times before, but had the choice to leave my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that if I did, I might not come back.
Well, but isn't it liberating? Isn't it liberating having that experience and choosing to let go?
It was beyond liberating. That is correct. And where I went to was, if you are a scientific minded person, I went to before the Big Bang.
Yeah.
And I also will say directly that I think that the psilocybin mushrooms are, and other psychoactive plants, are here intentionally.
Of course.
How do you like that?
I think they have to be.
Yeah, they're here intentionally, put here by what I call the elders of consciousness, so that we could awaken. And you said it yourself.
Well, you ever heard of the stoned ape theory?
Sounds good. Tell me.
So the stoned ape theory is that when we came down from the trees as monkeys, we were originally looking for bugs and grubs and stuff under cow patties. And so we eventually got to the point where we were eating psychedelic mushrooms, and those things became our spur of evolution. It began our creative thinking.
Those creatures evolved. I did not know it had a name, but I have been saying that for years.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
but it just makes total sense. Like, if you're a monkey coming down from the trees looking for grubs underneath cow patties, what are you going to run into?
And not only that, but beyond that, there are numerous references. Once people started to write things down, there are numerous references to images of and discussion of mushrooms. And for instance, Jesus went out and what was it, 40 years or 40 days?
Mm-hmm.
And okay, or even better, Moses, right?
Yes.
He climbs a mountain. He talks to a burning bush.
Yeah.
And God comes and tells him that he is one, that God is one. Okay, I've been there, and I understand that completely.
So for me, when I finally let go, it was for getting to the point of letting go was agonizing. Like, for me, it was absolutely atrocious, because I was trying to fight the experience. I wasn't quite ready for it. But I working through all those things that was just hanging on. That was brilliant for me. And then after the point of letting go, it was like the universe, the entire universe closing in and loving me at the same time. So it was basically, there was nothing in the universe left. There was nothing even outside of this feeling of love.
Yeah, oh, that's exactly right.
And it was beautiful. It was the most beautiful, most spiritual experience I've ever had, and it's completely changed my life.
Well, and me too. In fact, would you like to hear the story of Messiahsez?
Yes. So where's the name come from?
That's right. So I go to Amsterdam in 2007. I come back, and my son, who is a computer programmer, noticed the difference, because there was a difference. So he made a website called Messiahsez, and when you go to Messiahsez, it's Messiah-SEZ. It's a picture of me looking like a Jewish rabbi, which I very easily can do, as you know.
Yeah, I saw the video. It was brilliant.
Although I'm not practicing anything, but yes. And it says, Messiah loves you. Messiah knows everything. Click here and ask Messiah a question. So he wrote a complicated program, which doesn't matter. But what it does is it outputs 3 sentences of gibberish.
Nice.
And that's my son's idea of what Messiah says. And then they got me a camera, a flip cam, and I started making the videos. And the first video that do you Reddit?
Yes, I love Reddit.
Okay, so I'm DD Shroom on Reddit.
Okay, and, I'm the metal.
The metal?
Mm-hmm. All one word, THE, metal.
I have 260,000 karmas.
I don't know how many I have. I don't keep track.
Well, so I made a video about the bike lanes in New York, and it was, so they put in these fucking bike lanes, you hear me? And they take Prospect Park West, the fucking boulevard of beauty, and they turn it into fucking Flatbush fucking Avenue. Fucking stupid, etc.
I love it.
So I posted it it's still out there. It's called Fascist Bike Lanes, and I posted it on Reddit, and what do you call it? The Gothamist picked it up. The Gothamist is a New York City website with a large, you know, The Gothamist?
I do.
Yeah. So they posted it, and it got like 10,000 views in an hour. At which point YouTube noticed that they liked this weirdo, and then YouTube started recommending my videos, and like 60% of the views that I get are recommended by YouTube.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's my idea behind this whole YouTube thing. As I'm sort of getting older, I've realized that I've pigeonholed myself into a career that I don't particularly care for. You
look like you're 30.
I am 30, right on the nose. I turned 30 this next week, actually.
Excellent.
So I've basically always had money and you know, success as being material things all the way up until this point, and driving myself into this career that I'm no longer really attached to. As I've sort of gotten older, and I want to do something more creative, but at the same time, I still have to support my family. I have a wife and 3 children, and
3 children.
Yes, so I you know, still have to do right by them, obviously. So the idea is to potentially transition from my day job to making videos.
Do you say what your daytime job is?
Oh yeah, sure. I'm a systems engineer, or a information security systems analyst.
Oh,
I basically prevent people from, or I wouldn't say prevent people. That's not the vast majority of what I do. But I look at malware and viruses on a network and make sure they don't propagate.
There you go. That was part of my son's earliest training. So yes, I completely understand that. Well, that's good. And do you say where you live?
Yeah, I live in Louisiana.
Louisiana. Louisiana.
Deep south.
They're trying to wash us away. You know that song?
I don't.
Really? Randy Newman?
I'm familiar with Randy Newman, but not that particular tune.
Okay. So tell me, so you live in Louisiana?
I do.
Really?
I play lots of instruments, none of them particularly well. My best instrument that I play is probably a mandolin.
Oh.
But I just got a banjo, which I'm in love with at the moment, but it's driving my wife insane. And I do have several guitars.
This is Louisiana. I don't know if this is appropriate, but
no, that's beautiful.
We'll just give it a second.
What has happened down here is the wind has changed. Clouds roll in from the north and it starts to rain.
My hair is standing on edge.
Rain real hard to rain. be a long time.
6 feet of water.
6 feet of water in the streets of Evangeline.
Louisiana.
River rolls all day, the river rolls all night. Some people got lost in the flood. Some people got away all right. River has busted through, way down the black mine. Says 6 feet of water in the streets of Evangeline.
And here's where you live.
Louisiana. Louisiana. They're trying to wash us away. They're trying to wash us away.
Almost
Louisiana. Louisiana. They're trying to wash us away. They're trying to wash us away.
It goes on.
Yeah, man, that's beautiful. But we did. My wife and I had to paddle out of our home.
That's and so my wife, the other night we went to a DAPL rally in Foley Square in Manhattan. My wife is now a full-time, she retired as a college professor, and she's now a full-time climate change activist.
Oh, fantastic.
Absolutely. And we stood in the cold and the rain, and we held our signs up, and we, blah, blah, blah. There's all these issues involved. And to tell you the truth, going back to the original statements that we made, she and I now are taking direct local action for a problem that is real and happening right now. So you in Louisiana will know it, as will the people in Manhattan, because we live on an island in Manhattan.
Yep.
I happen to live on the top of the hill, so I'm not going to get drowned, but in Manhattan will get drowned. And we're trying to do as much as we can to help you so that you don't have to paddle out of your house again. And we don't really care who the president is. He can fuck himself.
Right. I don't care who does it, but yeah, it's definitely something we need to pay attention to. I think that's, the idea that someone like Trump could be our leader is just, to me, shows how much the system has failed us.
And I will say bluntly that not a single president has ever been my leader. I don't accept leaders, and I feel that each one of them is a psychopath or a sociopath because they have to be. Well, they're seeking a job where they kill people. I mean, that's the job. And I recognize that they are not my leader at all. The fact that this character is accepted as a leader by many, many people. In fact, somebody on Facebook just said, how can they do this? And I said, because they want to be led. I said, if you want to understand why people do this, think of sheep. They just want that. And those people who are asking, and those people who are thinking about it, and those people who think don't necessarily accept the leadership of the shepherd as easily as the sheep. But what you see here is sheep acting like sheep. And, that's probably not going to change. But hopefully at some point in the evolution, as you said, we will take that one step beyond the fear and hatred, and we will again love each other. And
I think that's one of the important reasons why I should stay here. Honestly, I love the people here. They're just a little backwater, and they need someone that is one of them that can also speak up about their bullshit. I think it's important to call them on it from time to time.
Well, actually, you will find videos. You will find a video of mine, although I may have, I pay attention to what people like, because my reason for doing it is truly to make people smile, because I don't benefit from it. I mean, I benefit from it as it's something to do and it's fun and I love the interaction with the people, but I don't make any money off of it.
Right.
And refuse to. But I don't know if you've ever seen the videos where I say if this were on my DVD.
No.
I have a joke about if I had a DVD, because every guitar teacher or player has a
Yeah,
DVD.
they do have a DVD. Yeah.
Except me, though. And I say, if I had a DVD, I would put this on it. But there are a number of things out there which say, fuck you. I mean, it says, sometimes the proper thing to say is fuck yourself. And that's just, I'm sorry, but I'm going to tell it to you, fuck yourself.
That's true. Well, that's the whole idea, is that this whole thing is just made up and it doesn't matter. It's all a game. All of the systems and all these things that we've put in place, they're not real. We can just change them. They're just not things. We don't have to keep doing things just because that's the momentum.
And I'm going to say that not only that, which is completely true, but actually the thoughts and the words that we speak are very much the same thing. We give way too much meaning to that which really doesn't mean anything, and that which, and it's tremendously foolish. Our brains are easily conditioned to accept these things because conditioned is what we are. But in fact, I am certain that conditioning can be the same mechanism that we use to condition ourselves, or that is used to condition us as children, can then be used to take it off, because I know how at this point to condition my thinking to, I don't, I get in trouble all the time because I say to people, there is no evil.
Yeah.
And there's an old saying about speak no evil.
Well, I agree, but it's kind of like, when you get some politician who thinks he's not deliberately out there doing something he thinks is wrong. Right. And he doesn't think he's wrong, otherwise he wouldn't do it. They
might do it for money sometimes.
Well, maybe.
Because they're often corrupt. But as I just recall from my history classes way back at Cape Cod Community College, when Mao Zedong led the revolution in China, they took those people and tied them to trees and then hacked them to death with farm tools. So.
Yeah.
Not that I support that.
No, that's probably not a good idea, but some days you might feel that way.
Well, people do feel that way, and especially, you are clearly, this is the first time we've met, you are clearly doing well. You are clearly intelligent. I'm really glad to be doing this, and actually, if it's possible, would do it again.
Oh, of course.
The fact is that, as we said before, for some people, it's really, really hard.
Yep.
So
it is, and that's another reason I've sort of tried to do this via video is I don't have a lot of people in my general area that share the same ideas as me. Most of my friends have all moved to Austin, Texas, or Seattle, or more much more left-leaning places, much more cooler cities.
Understood.
And due to my my wife wanting to stay close to her family and all that kind of good stuff, I really don't have ties that much to my family here. But I don't know. I keep finding excuses, I guess, not to leave. And now we have kids and they're on school, so it's.
And you have a job.
I have a nice job, so it's not I'm obviously I know for at least the next until my kids are 18 or they move out, however long that would be. I have until then that I'm going to be here. So,
you don't have to put yourself in. That's a long time. They may change your wife.
I agree, but while I'm here, I need to make this place a cool fucking place.
Well, thank you. And so if you want to make videos, tell me exactly what's happening now. I see you have a fancy microphone and nice.
Yes. So I used to run a very successful motorcycle channel. And I was really into bikes, and I had lots of time to ride. And during my time riding, I would always think about interesting things or interesting philosophical ideas.
You're lucky to be alive.
Yes. And that's one thing I've learned is it's very difficult to convey very complex topics while you're also focusing on being on a motorcycle. But on a motorcycle, I rode for 9 years, no car. So just a bike for 9 years. I even did two-week trip in Europe. That my show financed. It did quite well, but I wanted to move away from that because I wanted to cover more complex ideas, and it's difficult to do on the back of a bike. So I switched to a different format, which was doing interviews with people or doing my own sort of my own videos, and it's pretty much where it came from.
So you do videos.
I do.
And okay, so are they on your channel? Have I not looked at them?
That's quite possible. I don't know. Most of my videos at the moment are so I've only recently started doing the short form where it's just me. Most of my videos have been interviews with various people covering various interesting topics.
I subscribe to everybody who comments on my channel.
Okay, so I'm not sure if you have or not. If you have, I haven't seen any comments on my videos.
That's where So that's where I would see it.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I'm also available on iTunes and Stitcher. That's just audio.
One of the things that I also do is again, because of the Russian baths, I get to know quite a few young people, because there's a lot of young people who go there, and I'm sort of like the old guy with the beard who's, sort of the hippy dippy psychedelic, blah blah blah.
You're the wizened wizard that we come to see and listen and take from.
Well, and believe it or not, many people there call me Messiah, as well as a contingent of Hasidic Jews. Did you see the video with the donkey?
I did. I loved that video.
Well, so when I was done making that video was a teeny little bit of what happened that day. It was one of the best days of my life. And do you know that they're making a film about me?
No, I did not.
So they're making a documentary about me, and that was being filmed for the documentary.
Okay.
And the footage that they got was the filmmaker's wife sent me a text after looking at it and saying, "Thank you for making my husband the filmmaker he wanted to be." It was the most amazing thing that has happened in a very long time. And it's because sitting on the deck at the baths, one of the Hasidic guys said, "Kommen wird kommen, euer weißer donkey wird kommen," making fun of a Rebbe that wasn't his Rebbe, and it means, "Come, he will come, on a white donkey he will come." Messiah.
Yeah.
So the filmmaker rents a fucking white donkey. And we walk, swear to God, and we walk through an Orthodox neighborhood on the Friday afternoon before the high holidays.
Oh my God, I love you.
I was swarmed by children, and like 50 of them, and they're singing Mashiach, Mashiach. That's how they say Messiah. Mashiach, Mashiach, play the shofar. And it was like it was. It was intense.
Oh man,
completely intense. And anyhow, what started me on that? So there were a bunch of Hasidic guys, ultra Orthodox Jewish people who call me Messiah.
That's beautiful.
The reason, pardon me?
That's beautiful.
Well, the reason for it is, I said before, for scientific people, I went to before the Big Bang. And for these Orthodox Jews, what I say is that I went to before what they call Gan Eden, or the Garden of Eden. And it was before there was turmoil, before there was anything but the realization of perfection. And the realization of perfection is how I refer to what's happened to me and what I do. And I think actually everyone does it as well. It's just that often there are levels of, I refer to it as the depths of shallowness, and that humans have this shallow film that goes over their intellect, and it's really shallow, but they spend so much of their time there that it's really deep. And if you just get a little bit past it, suddenly you recognize the depth of your being. Blah, blah, blah. What is this guy talking about?
No, anyhow, it makes perfect sense to someone who's had a psychedelic experience, I think.
Well, that's it. I am describing the psychedelic experience, and yes, and a focused one as well.
Yes. Well, that was the end goal of mine, is that I wanted to get something out of it. I had experimented in my younger days with acid, which it was fun, but it never gave me like a emotional journey, I guess. And then, so when I got older, I read all these things about how it was being used to treat PTSD and how it's being used to treat cancer patients or terminal cancer patients who are fearing death. And it completely eliminated all of my anxiety I had about the world. Like, it's just all gone. I used to be a super anxious person. It fucking vanished. It was just gone that day. And the depression, I used to get bouts of depression, which I still do, but they're very, very faint. They're nowhere near as deep or as crazy as they were. And it's exactly what it's about. It's about just slightly. I mean, it's all about that psychedelic experience and breaking through that thin film.
There you go. Do you have a pencil or a pen with you?
I do.
Okay, write this down, okay? Headspace. Head, H-E-A-D, space.
I got it.
I have been meditating for many, many years and have never spent one penny on an app to help me with it. After doing the first 3 free things that Headspace gave me, I immediately bought it. Life-changing. Very, very, very powerful stuff. So
it's beautiful. I'm going to have to check that out.
Recommending it. They'll give you 3 sessions for free.
Oh, there's something I was actually really excited about. Not too far from here, maybe a couple miles. There's a Buddhist temple opening.
Oh yeah.
And they got this big, beautiful marble Buddha out front. They're still building the building, but I mean, that's insane for me here in this state. Like, it just blew my mind to see that.
Have you read any Buddhist stuff?
I've looked into a lot of the philosophies. If you look on my arm, I actually have, I'm not sure how well you can see it. I have, Om Mani Padme Hum.
Okay.
Which is through, compassion and wisdom, you can achieve enlightenment.
Well, now you're talking. Boy, this is wonderful. Are you familiar with Thich Nhat Hanh?
Can't say that I am.
Okay, I'm going to send you. I'm going to send you a link. This is pretty much the only things that I read are the philosophical discussion and the discussion of the practice of Zen Buddhism.
Yep.
And it's from Thich Nhat Hanh that I read. I pretty much only read his work. And the experience that you were talking about before, the way he describes the Buddhist meditation and purpose, the end point, is the closest words that I have ever read to describe that which I experienced.
Well, since my experience, I've found that during meditation, it helps me. I can get to that space.
Beautiful.
I can go back into that experience, not as intense as I did before, but I can step back into that experience through meditation. And it's a beautiful thing. I absolutely love it, and I think it because I've been there. It just makes me easier. It makes it easier to get to that space.
Yes, and also as part of the meditation would be to focus on the part of your brain which experienced that expansive state.
It is. It's basically like it's like any other thing that you do in life. You want to practice with it. So the faster and more, I guess, steady you can bring yourself into that state and hold it, the more it wears in those neural pathways. So it gets easier and easier to reach that space, and it starts making other connections with your life. So like even now, there was a small period of time where I was microdosing psilocybin mushrooms, so just a little bit, and it seemed to have tugged my consciousness back just like a few feet, which I absolutely loved. Still am able to look at things from a much farther perspective, like how they fit into a much larger picture, instead of getting caught up in the immediate things that are right in front of you. It was quite an intense experience. And I don't think I've stepped away from psychedelic experience, like hardcore psychedelics. I got what I needed out of them. I've learned my lesson. Maybe when I get older, I'll experience them again. But it's for now. I'm good.
I went from age 20 to age 57, 56 actually, without doing it. So,
well, I think they're a tool. Like that's what they're originally used as. They were used by shamans to step you through.
Right. It's actually a tool or a key.
A key, yeah.
And the key opens the door. The door is inside of you, and you've got it closed. And then the key opens the door, and suddenly that which is inside comes to light. The other thing was that meditation. I'm sorry, gone.
It's all right. It's impossible to keep up with these things. They tend to come and go. So what I found with you'd mentioned. So what I found with Zen and what I've tried to kind of grasp is Zen. If you think you understand Zen, you have no fucking idea what Zen's about. That's kind of how I see it, and I really understand like what that means.
I have a message to myself in email, and it specifically says trying to understand what cannot be understood. And yes. In fact, that is the fucking problem.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
You're not going to be able to fucking understand it, and anything that you come to. Any conclusion to which you come is fucking stupid because it's not understandable.
Exactly. Well, that's a misconception a lot of people have with enlightenment. It's like when you hold that feeling, it's not a feeling that you have all the time. Once you've achieved enlightenment, it doesn't stay with you all the time. I mean, a part of it does.
Constantly work for it.
Yeah, but you constantly have to put yourself back in that space. You just kind of gotta, work around it.
That is exactly true.
So, I mean, it's still doing the same things that you do every day. Like you're not really changing much. It's all inside.
Correct.
You change your behavior out of you don't have to will yourself to change your behavior. You just sort of naturally do. It's a weird experience.
I remembered what I was going to say is that Terence McKenna said that once you've reached the operator, you don't need to keep calling back.
Right. That's it. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, because I forgot again the second.
So it's like letting the man, it's a very difficult concept to grasp and hang on to. It's very elusive. But it's like, okay, so let me think. Terence McKenna said it was like, once you've called the operator. Yeah, so it's not something that I think people should do recreationally.
I agree with that.
I think it's something that you should definitely have a guide for, but I do think it's an experience that should be available for anyone.
And I agree with that as well. I do think that a person should have a certain emotional stability.
Yes, you need to.
That would be part of the preparation.
I agree.
Because it can be terrifying for people.
It can be. And I like even going into it, I thought I had let go enough and I was ready for a really deep experience. And it was 6 powdered grams.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that did me pretty well. It shot me into space as far as I was concerned.
That's good.
And basically I turned out all the lights, put some headphones on with some interesting music, and basically threw a blanket over my head and closed my eyes and just let myself go. And so the beginnings of the experience, I went through death. Like I felt myself just stop breathing and there was no more me. And then my first visual experience was watching my body go through a meat processor.
Come on.
But I was separated out from this and just watching my body kind of go through this. And then after that, I was just mind, and I had, I was still kind of me. And then I watched all of that just slowly get taken apart piece by piece. And that can be disturbing to people. If you try and hang on, that's when it's an experience that's going to teach you whether you want to learn it or not. And you can choose to look at it terrifying, or you can relax and let it show you what it has to show you, because it has some things to show you. It's trying to teach you something, in my opinion. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, no, yes, trying to indeed, even beyond trying to, it just opens your awareness to what truly is, as opposed to what you think is.
I agree.
The thinking, there's no more thinking. In fact, I I have another video planned where I talk about delusional illusions and confusion, delusion, and
Yeah.
the profusion of confusion and delusion, and it's fucking up your mind, people.
It is. It is.
Videos up.
So there's. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That I make the videos up on the run. That I never plan them. They're just mostly just completely spontaneous.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, I think. And that's one thing I miss about my studio is I used to have it.
That's why it got wet, because of the floods.
That's right. So we got about 4.5 feet of water in our house. I lost the home, cars, everything. And I lost my studio. So I've had to restart. I was able to save a few things like mics that were up on mic stands. My computer made it. I had the forethought to pick up my very expensive editing machine and put it up on top of my desk, and a few of my guitars and things. Saved my kids' stuffed animals. So we saved things, but it was more than just the things. The things I really wasn't worried about. It was truly an emotionally scarring experience on my children and my family. I think I was pretty able to cope and let it go, but they had a pretty rough time with it. And it's difficult. The difficult part for me was to watch them go through that.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, so I mean, luckily my daughter, who's brand new, she didn't get to see any of it. She slept through the whole goddamn thing on the 2 boat rides, and she slept through the whole thing.
Your children are lucky because of what you just said.
What's that?
The way that you described what you were concerned about, which was them.
Yeah, well, of course.
Oh, the first of all, it's not always true, and second of all, the way that you expressed it is so beautifully genuine that I said that I think your girls are lucky, or girls or boys, and I still think it.
Well, I appreciate that, and it's something that has actually taken me time to learn. It was not something that came easy to me.
I didn't know it at 30, pal.
Yeah, it was.
You should have seen me at 30.
I understand. It took me, I'd say, most of my 20s to figure it out. Like, I mean, my 20s was a serious devotion to learning some hard fucking lessons.
Well, my 20s and 30s and probably 40s was me fighting having to learn any fucking lessons, because I didn't let anybody fucking tell me what to do. If you told me to have a nice day, I would tell you, make me.
Well, look at you now.
I know.
You're such a beautiful person.
Have a nice day. Don't tell me what to do. I'm a happy old guy.
It sounds like a typical New Yorker, Hey, how's it going? Fuck off.
Yeah, hey, fuck you.
Well, I think that's why I got along so well with the Brits, is they tend to have a very relaxed feeling toward insults. Like, some of my best friends, I'll walk up and, just completely destroy him with words, and he'll give me a hug.
You know who else? Apparently swear all the time? Well, of course, Russians.
Yeah.
A Russian guy, a Russian guy once said to me, "You American, you don't know how to swear. You say shut up. In Russia, we say zakroy rot, moy chuy stoit. Shut your mouth, my dick is standing up. Zakroy rot, moy chuy stoit."
Oh, that's beautiful.
And wait, where were we before that?
A place.
But swear words.
Yes. Canadian. Oh yeah, Canadians are pretty bad about it.
No, Canadians, they swear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I knew this Canadian guy who was hilarious. I can't remember the exact joke, but the swearing was like deep.
Yeah. It's sewn in. I mean, that's kind of how mine is. It's so interlaced within my normal everyday conversation that I don't even know when I'm doing it. I've been told off by a lady in a restaurant because I said shit, and I had no idea.
Exactly. I used to be the boss of a fairly large sales and shipping organization, and I once got a call from a customer who was really upset because the salesperson had said fuck. I just had to explain to him. I said, look, I understand completely what you're saying, but it doesn't mean the same thing here as it does in other places. He
That's
wasn't, and the other thing was, so after the experience, the 2007 experience, I would take all of the complaint calls.
Oh, nice.
And they would call up and they go,
Well, thank you for calling. I'm terribly sorry that you feel that way.
no. And I would say, hi, my name is, and I want to help you. Really do want to help you.
Genuinely interested in helping you.
And eventually they would go, you mean it? And I say, yes, I do. Yeah. And I would help them. And so that's what I do. I help people as much as I possibly can.
Well, yeah, I think you have to. It's that's another difficult one, and that's one I'm still learning and kind of struggling with. I'm getting much better at it. Is doing for others. It's wonderful and it's enriching, but sometimes it's still a difficult thing to do.
And to add to that, or to subtract from that, no matter how hard it is to do, when you do it, it benefits you.
Of course.
That's a good song. Yeah. No matter how hard it is to do, when you do it, it benefits you.
So, but yeah, I agree, because ultimately we're all, I kind of do subscribe to the idea that we're all a single consciousness, and you're ultimately yourself. You're experiencing everything.
Where the hell did you come from?
Me?
Well, I mean, you haven't. Do you know about the cult?
The cult?
Yeah.
No. So hang on, let me tell you my shtick. So my shtick is to truly go through life and experiencing ideas and discovering ideas on my own. I don't necessarily subscribe to learning lessons through other people. I mean, I do much so more now, but that's kind of my shtick. So when I say I don't know about the cult, I have no idea.
Well, and also that is the best way to learn, because the only way that you're going to learn is you.
Yes.
It's you that does the learning. The cult is sort of a joke, but I want to have a cult, and you are fucking perfect for it. I mean, you could be the fucking assistant pastor or whatever. But
I'm in.
Yeah, I know, but here's the fucking problem. Hopefully, at some point, you'll meet my wife and my children, right? Mm-hmm. So anybody that knows my wife and my children know that if they're not in the cult, there is no fucking cult. These people are so fucking not in my cult. It's scary, but you are fucking perfect. And there's I know other people like you as well. And if my wife would just get off of her high fucking horse and join the fucking cult,
she should join the cult.
We could make DVDs you wouldn't understand.
That's kind of the idea.
DVD, but she won't join my cult.
Sad. See, my wife is my wife's a big hippie. She grew up with her mother, living in Winnebago. Her mother's an artist. That's all her mother's done. And so she grew up a hippie. She lived in a pop-up camper for like most of the vast, I'd say the informative years of her life.
Wow.
And her mom has finally made it. Like, her mom makes money with her art and all that kind of good stuff. But my wife is totally a hippie. That just this past year, before we had my daughter, we were considering buying an old bus, gutting it out, turning it into an RV, and just driving around for a while.
I love you guys. I mean, I'm so glad that this is happening. This is really today was not the best day for me, and this is just. And I was worried that maybe that would come out, but you've just lifted me the fuck up.
Well, good, man. That's what we're here for.
Seriously.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry you had a shit day, man. I mean, those kind of happen.
When I have a shit day, for most people, that would be like what they would want to do. So
yeah. Well, I kind of agree with you.
I'm fine. I was fine. Good. I'm fine. I had to go. I went to the doctor, but the doctor's a pretty cool guy.
All right.
And I'm totally fine. But my I don't know, I have cankersaurus in my fucking mouth or some bullshit. Did you grow up in Louisiana?
Kinda. I grew up I grew up around the South. My dad was in the military. All right. So I should say this: my father separated from my mother when we were very young. So I lived with my mother until I was 10, and then with my father later. With my mother, she was a very liberal person. She liked to encourage me to think, and I credit her with teaching me everything that I needed to know to make it in life. With my father, I moved in with him at 10 years old and started taking care of him. I love him to death, but he's fucking helpless on his own.
Still with us.
Yeah, so I'm glad he has a wife that can take care of him now, because he did the best he could with the situation he found himself in. I don't think he was ready for children, and especially when my mother died, he wasn't ready for children even then. He had not gotten there.
Your mother died?
Yes, she died when I was 10.
Oh boy.
And so with him, he was in the military, so we did a fair amount of moving, Texas and Kentucky, few places, but mostly southern states. And I grew up, listening to progressive music because my family obviously hated it. During my rebellious teenage years, I I listened to, old hippie music and, heavy metal and rock and roll and stuff like that. And I sort of subscribed to alternate ideas and sought out interesting thoughts. That's always kind of been my pastime.
This is obvious. Two things. One, I'm getting a flashing on the screen of your thing. I don't think my machine has changed. I don't know if your connection is getting weird. It's like flashing. I hope it stays. Okay.
I've noticed your audio tends to cut out from time to time.
You don't have a Southern accent.
No. I've like I said, all of my influences were not people from around here. I don't know what happened to me. Everybody that meets me says I was born in the wrong side of the country.
Right, you're from California.
Yeah, everybody thinks I'm from California. And everybody you're not supposed to live here. You're supposed to belong in Austin or Portland or Seattle or someplace like that. You don't belong here. I'm aware, but
you do belong there because they need you.
They do need me. They're believe it or not, there are people like me here. We have kindred spirits. They're hard to find, but we're here.
A Buddhist temple is opening.
Right. I mean, there are meditation centers downtown. I mean,
are there? Okay. So what town?
Baton Rouge. I live in a very small part of that, so I live in the sticks where the rednecks live. But I live pretty close to a fairly modern town.
Baton Rouge.
Yeah. And it's also renowned we have a lot of film studios and a lot of people come in. We're like an hour and a half away from New Orleans. But we get a lot of film people that come through here. We've got a big film studio. And that's probably, we're unknown at the moment, but we're getting there.
Well, that's cool. And interestingly enough, because of the movie that they're making about me, which is almost done, by the way, I've learned a substantial amount about how they do it. It's quite interesting. The director / producer of the film sort of knows more about me than I do, and he's brilliant. He makes things happen it's his creation. It's a documentary, so there's not acting, but he creates wonderful things. And I actually think that not because of me, but because of him, that this is going to be a good movie. In fact, I'm sure of it.
Well, that's crazy. So can you discuss like the name of the movie or when they?
The movie will be called Messiahsez.
Messiahsez, all right.
And it's adampogoff.com. Adam, Adam, Pogoff.com. And you can see the flyer which explains it.
That's brilliant. So the after they finish filming, they've got editing. Do they have any expected time?
Next year at this time it'll be done.
That's fantastic. That's I'm actually really looking forward to that.
Well, that's lovely of you to say. I will say, and again, not because of me. I mean, there are some interesting aspects to my life for sure. And I guess I'm an interesting character, but they have captured some great stuff. Not only the donkey thing, which is amazing, but They have captured some great stuff. And again, it's because this man, Adam, is he's just really good at what he does.
He sounds brilliant, and he sounds like to me that he sees in you the same thing I see.
Well, that's lovely of you to say. Again, I suggest that you seek help. But yes, in many ways, he and his wonderful wife have become very close to me and my wife. They're beautiful people, and it's wonderful to have them in our lives. Again, through the Russian baths, he watched me. As I say, I'm sort of the mayor of this bathhouse, and it's got very, very exotic New York City customers. So he's just a young guy, and he's watching me and listening to me because I can't keep my mouth shut no matter what. And after a year, he comes up to me and says, I want to make a movie about you. And I said, you're out of your fucking mind. And he said, I may be out of my fucking mind, but I want to make a movie about you. So I said, all right, well, come over to my house. We'll talk about it. And we talked about it. And I really didn't know him that well at that point. And I said yes. And it's really great. We've done we filmed in Europe. We filmed.
What part of Europe?
In the Netherlands.
Oh yeah, that's right. You went to Amsterdam. That's amazing.
Yeah.
My wife and I. Let me see. We haven't done much traveling. I did a 2-week motorcycle tour across England, which is on my motorcycle channel. And
we should probably not talk about that.
No.
Motorcycles frighten Messiahsez.
I understand. They're a.
Yeah, we can talk about it. I'm sorry.
It to me it was a thing I had to do. It was like a proving to yourself kind of thing.
Okay.
But it's not something after I've had one accident. I rode for 9 years, had one accident, and stopped after my one accident. I think I'm done. Oh yes, it was not good.
I used to work in a hospital operating room, and the worst things that you ever saw were the motorcycle accidents.
Yeah. Well, I was a good rider. I always wore my gear. I was always very, very, very careful. Like I said, 9 years, no accidents.
DC rider?
I'm sorry?
DC rider?
No.
So good rider.
I was a good rider, yeah.
How about CC rider?
I'm sorry?
DC rider.
DC rider.
No, CC, Charles.
No.
Write it down.
All right.
CC rider, that's all.
Okay.
John Hurt.
All right. Well, did you ever read, my fascination with it came from Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
Ah, there you are.
And it came from, I wanted to be a mechanic, and motorcycles were simple enough that I could work on and try and learn. And then I tried to become a mechanic, but it turns out all the people who are mechanics, I can't stand any of them.
No doubt. I sold tools for my entire career, and I am so bad with them that if someone would call up and say, listen, I need help with, using this, I would immediately tell them to dial 911. Because if you're asking me, I know what it does, but I don't fucking know how it does it. And if you ask me, I know how many I got. I know how much they cost. I know how long it takes to get them. I know a lot of shit about it. I know the part numbers, but don't ask me how to use the fucking thing because I don't know how.
Well, I've got a very engineering capable mind.
I heard you
it's
say
very good at problem solving. So I wanted to apply that to mechanics, and I'm fairly decent at it, but I couldn't stand the people. So instead, I went into computers. I'm much more better with those kind of people, I suppose.
You made a choice.
I mean the Silicon Valley type,
Because
they were all originally hippies.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it killed Steve Jobs.
Oh, of course it did.
He just I have a friend actually who has a serious condition and has treated it successfully with natural stuff.
Yeah.
I said to him the other day, he was describing a symptom and a way that he felt, and I said to him, listen, I completely understand the natural path and I'm all for it, but just remember it killed Steve Jobs, and it might be okay to try taking some medicine and not having to.
Yeah, I agree. I have to remind my wife of that several times.
There you go. And the funny thing about it is that my wife was raised as a Christian Scientist. Those are the ones that pray and don't go to the doctor. Oh,
that's strange.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're interesting people.
Yeah.
Christian Scientists, you should write that down too if you're not familiar with them. But in essence, I have become, in some ways, a Christian Scientist. In other words, I am able to use my mind to heal my body.
Yeah.
I do it all the time.
Well, so here's my argument. My argument is that the brain is a very powerful thing. As far as we know, we are just a projection of some interdimensional being into this sort of weird thing we like to call reality. So why wouldn't your mind be able to change any of this? Because it's all made up and it doesn't matter.
You're going to be, listen, so let's form a cult.
I'm down. Let's do it.
Called the Cult of Pure Love.
I'm for it.
Realization of perfection is the training.
Yeah.
There's no charge.
Of course not.
You're in charge of the entire Southeast.
I'm down. Let's do it. Do we need to sign any paperwork or?
No, I don't think so. Barbecues.
Okay. Yeah, barbecues.
We should have barbecues and stuff like that.
Well, that's one thing I'm saying about my new little place that I live is it's kind of its own little 5 or 6 house block. Yeah. It's like if any of these houses go up for sale, I've already told my wife we have to be the ones that sell them because we are going to sell and get some cool neighbors.
Oh, very interesting. Do you know how? By the way, do you know how you can tell someone's a vegan?
No.
They'll tell you.
Oh, that's very true. So there's one thing about the left side is some of their stuff's a little ridiculous.
Oh.
I think some of it they do tend to take some things a little too far.
Are you really?
Yeah. Are you a vegan?
No.
I didn't think so. I'm not either.
But I am not a vegan, although I am almost a vegan.
I understand that. I think it's responsible to if you look at how we produce livestock and meat, I think it's responsible to at the very least just cut down.
Well, I'm vegetarian for sure, but
okay.
You know that I also used to weigh 300 pounds, right?
No, I actually over the course of the past 3 years, I've probably lost about 70, 80 pounds.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
In the last, I started the current weight loss in 2010.
Congratulations, by the way.
I weighed 78 pounds this morning.
Well done.
So, and I am definitely vegetarian. Although if I go to a friend's house, I have friends who are Orthodox Jews and they serve fish and a piece of salmon, and it's part of their belief to eat a piece of fish. So I will do that. I'm not religious,
right?
But I am 99.9% vegetarian, and the only non-vegan that I eat is I eat pizza.
You eat pizza? All right. I don't blame you there. I mean, a good slice.
My most recent song is that pizza, cannabis oil, and that heals the world, heals the universe.
So that's one grateful thing I am so happy about here in the South is we're finally starting to get our own microbrews. Because I like a good beer. I'm a bit of a beer snob, and I'm super happy that we've got a couple little microbreweries around, and we have bars that we can go to that just cater to beer snobs, which are amazing.
What about pizza? Can you get pizza?
You can get pizza. Unfortunately, my favorite places keep closing. So there was this New York style place that opened up. Their problem is they couldn't keep, I guess, a front end staff, so service was poor. But the pizza was amazing.
Because everybody likes pizza.
Yeah, and but so there's your run of the mill stuff.
How about bagel?
Bagel, we've got American Bagel Company, and they're okay, but it's not a New York bagel. Oh, by the way, I used to travel quite a lot. I've been to every state in the United States except for Maine, Alaska, and Hawaii, which I've only been once.
Huh.
So I've been to all over the country. But bagels, New York's the only place to get them.
FBI?
No, I worked for a security consulting company. So we did ethical hacking, and I also did social engineering. So I got to dress up like a pest inspector or telephone repairman and talk my way into the building.
Funny NSA. My son and I once were at a karate tournament in Washington, in the Virginia suburbs, and we got lost and we pulled into the NSA, to an NSA facility.
Wow, that's not a place you want to pull into.
Well, no, the guy with the gun was right there, and we turned around.
Yeah, so that we do. I do have one story, and it was a NASA building. So we did credit unions primarily, and there was a credit union attached to some NASA property that was under armed guard, and we were contracted to do a social engineering engagement. So we were going to show up and pretend to give them our pest inspector shtick. But it turns out that this particular client canceled on us at the last minute, because if you get into certain areas, like to the NASA spaces, they will shoot you. So they're like, yeah, we don't want you to get shot, so let's not, have you snooping around.
Yeah, both. You don't, which is one of the things that I say about people who go to like countries where you need to get a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody wants to get shot. So then why would you go to a country where you have to get a fucking shot?
Right. I agree.
Because I like to stay between 10th Street and Manhattan and my house in Brooklyn. I don't understand why people want to, go other places.
I don't know. I'm a hermit, but every now and again, I'd say at least once a year, I get a wild hair up my ass and I've just got to go somewhere. Like a couple years ago, I wound up in Wyoming.
Okay.
Just camping out like for 2 weeks, just got on my bike with camping gear and rode to Wyoming.
Why don't you just go to Baton Rouge?
You could just go to Baton Rouge.
I mean,
I don't know. It was a point in time where I was all manly man, and I was trying to, find what it was to be a man. Yeah. And I was, trips into the woods to,
Would you like some help with that, by the way?
No, I'm good. I think I found it. I'm over it. But yeah, go ahead. What's your advice, though?
Yeah, just realize that you're stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone is.
That's about being a man.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's caught up in your own bullshit, I think, is what being a man is about.
Oh, really? You see, that's you definitely are in charge of the Southeast, bro. I'm gonna put you in charge of. I might put you in charge of everything.
That's fine.
We need a leader.
We do need a leader. I don't know. But we need and I'm only 30. I think you would be the wise leader.
Okay. But you got to grow your beard.
Oh, hang on. I don't have any pictures on me. Damn. Once a year, I grow a massive, beautiful, beautiful red beard.
So why would you cut it off?
It gets really hot here in the South. I'm talking like 104 outside with 98% humidity. And I used to have a motorcycle for a living and no car. So now I have AC, and I will be growing my beard back.
I used to. I have not cut my hair or my beard since the night in Amsterdam.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yep. And the only way I would do it is if I had skin cancer or something and they wanted to cut me. But I don't cut my hair or my beard.
I don't blame you.
Because
I do love my beard.
Women love the beard.
Oh, they do. My wife absolutely adores it.
Like strangers will come up to me on the street and ask if they can
touch it. Yeah, I get that.
I also get ZZ Top.
You get ZZ Top? All right.
And if I'm in an African American neighborhood, I get he was in the Jay-Z ad. Come on, Rick Rubin.
I can't say that I know him.
Well, Rick Rubin looks like me. And yesterday I got the guy who just died. What's his name? The piano player.
Don't know. Like I said, I try to stay unplugged especially from media.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I get my media sources through social media only. So not Facebook, like, Reddit, Dig, or social news sites where the popular news can be voted to the top.
Hold on. Singer with beard died. No, stop it. Come on. Anyhow.
Yeah, so beards are amazing.
Yes.
And I will happily lead your southern side of the cult.
Thank you. That's great.
You see, if it comes down to it, we can be the insiders to help, sort of convert.
First of all, the other thing is that you're clearly that you know about computer security.
I do.
Well, yeah. So hello, and if that isn't obviously a important aspect, because we're going to be generating our message of love from bunkers once the fucking nuclear weapons start going off. So we're going to need security, and we're going to need to not let them know where we are.
It's true.
See, and we'll all be in the cult, and it will be only about pure love,
of course,
and forgiveness and kindness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there'll be a DVD. There won't be a DVD. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
This
would be on the DVD.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. It should.
This would be like one of the extras of this is where the cult was formed. This is when they figured it out.
Well, this is yes. So you take this. Let's see. It's 7:52. So we've been doing this for like an hour and a half.
Yep.
You take this and then you edit it and make it into a how long piece?
It changes. I've had them that are so long I've cut them into 2 chunks.
Got it.
I've had them that are 45 minutes long, some an hour and a half. It depends on where the gems are or how I feel about the whole episode. This one will probably go long. This will probably be in its entirety.
Wow. And are you recording the video or just the audio?
I'm capturing. I do usually have a camera up here, but it died. So at the moment, like the first maybe 5-10 minutes is going to be, it'll have video. The rest of it will just be audio. And all of the audio from the Skype recording and everything's piped out to an analog recorder. And I take that track and remaster it. So give it some better, I guess some cleaner sound.
You get a lot of dates talking like that?
Not really. Not anymore. I'm married. So, my wife kind of frowns upon that. I mean, she digs the voice anyway, so.
My son talks nerd sometimes, and when he was young and he would talk nerd, I would say, "You get a lot of dates talking like that?" And he would actually yes, because even though he was a nerd, actually he says he was a geek. The difference between
there's a difference.
He says that a geek is a nerd with social skills.
Yeah, I actually have a blue shirt with a name tag on it that says geek.
I have
many people that ask me, "Is that your name?"
But he always had a girlfriend, and he's married and has a kid, so
I'm the same way. It works. Look, if I can fix a computer, I can make you come. That's pretty much how it works.
So I have to install Windows 10 on my wife's laptop.
It's fairly easy.
I ordered the plug-in thing, USB. I turn on the laptop, I stick in the USB, and then how do I get it to look at the drive and install the new system?
I'm not entirely sure how those are built, but you should probably plug in the USB and then turn it on. I
see. Okay. See, already I'm learning things.
Yeah, because it'll instead of reading your hard drive, it'll want to read that as a hard drive, and it'll try and boot from that, which is it's typically a bootloader, which is how they do things now.
So in other words, I'll put that in there and the system will immediately see it and start loading the software.
It should, in theory. If not, I can walk you through changing the BIOS setting. I can try anyway.
Microsoft, you think that they know everything.
Yeah, they don't. They're just trying to make a buck.
My son-in-law is an IT guy, so he'll.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
All right, sir, but I have wasted enough of your time. I'm sure my wife is ready to come home.
What the fuck you're doing? This is great. I am available to you. I truly enjoyed this.
Likewise. This is what I do. I enjoy the conversations.
That's beautiful. If you ever wanted to make a video from the Messiahsez channel, I would do that with you.
Happily.
And I would be more than happy to, in any way that I could, help you to do what you're doing. And I'm serious about that. I don't know that I can, but I would.
I appreciate that. And the same offer goes for you. The exact same, anything that you need at all, anything that I can do for you. If it's within my power, sir, great. I'm at your disposal.
Could I have the password, please, to your bank account?
No, can't give you that one. There's not much. If you want all $4 of it, it's fine.
I always tell people on Reddit, I would always say, oh, I have a really good password. It's 12345 God. But my son, who again is really quite, an advanced computer person, on his laptop it says, there's the screenshot says password 12345.
Well, here's so my computer. Everybody asks me if I run antivirus or anything like that on my computer. I don't, because I know what I'm doing with the computer. I know what to look for. I don't go in places where I get infected, and if I do, I know what measures to take to protect the computer before I get there.
I love it. That's definitely a worthwhile function.
I also understand how ads and stuff pick up your information. So Microsoft gathers no information on me. Windows 7 likes to gather information. I understand what it's for. It's for ads. They want to be able to sell you things that you're actually interested in. So I don't particularly care about it. But it just rubs me the wrong way, so I turn it all off.
Amazon knows exactly what I want.
Of course they do.
Facebook has no fucking idea.
We said it's because Amazon has a series of people sitting in a room in a circle, and they're all touching fingers and meditating and dropping acid repeatedly, and so they can tap into your mind. They know. They know what the world wants.
Oh shit. Well, that's fascinating. Can you turn off the recording thing?
Yeah.